Hey guys, welcome back to the Checkup, CMH's podcast. Today we have with us Dr. Jo Edwards. She's a family practice doctor here at CMH. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're excited. So today's topic, I'm going to confess, I've heard of it, but that's about it. I don't know anything about. So today we're talking about fatty liver disease, right?
Yes.
Tell me what that is. Give us all the details.
Okay, so fatty liver disease is when you have fat accumulating in the liver, and specifically in the liver cells, and they balloon up. Now, if 5 to 10% of your cells are doing this, you are technically in the category for fatty liver disease.
It's not very much.
It's not very much. No. And then if you have any scarring from it, then you're in a different category too.
Like a more intense.
Yes,
Got
yes. And it's important because about 40% of people have fatty liver disease. And over 10% of those people will go on to develop liver damage and possibly progression to cirrhosis. It is now... By 2030, it will have overtaken alcohol as the leading cause of cirrhosis of the liver, which is scarring and liver failure. So
what causes this? So the fat in the liver cells just damages the liver? Like it makes the cells get too big and then is that what happens?
So when you have all that fatty accumulation in there, the cells don't, function as well. They're getting damaged. And they eventually, after they're damaged, that forms scar tissue, and then the liver is not able to function the way it's supposed to function, and it's very important.
Yeah, I was going to say, so take me back to Anatomy 101. The liver, remind me what the liver does for me.
So the liver is on your right upper belly, and it's a vital organ, meaning like if you didn't have it, you would die.
Right. Can't live without it.
What happens is all the nutrients and toxins and everything that come from your food are taken up by the blood, and then they go to the liver, and then the liver filters it.
Okay.
It has other functions too, like it's important for some of the cells that form clots.
Okay.
So, people with, liver failure are, at risk for bleeding a lot. And then it also can convert protein to glucose.
A big part of what the liver does then is filter the food or the waste. I would think maybe what you eat might be a contributing factor. What you eat and drink might be a contributing factor to this.
It is. It's the number one contributing factor. Wow. So other associations are with diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, high cholesterol. All of these are associated with fatty liver disease. If you have them, if you have any of these, chances are you probably have fatty liver disease too.
Some of those are genetic, but some of those are definitely lifestyle, at least related, right?
Yes. A lot of these things there's a genetic component and then there's a lifestyle component. So you can be genetically predisposed to get diabetes or high blood pressure, but if you do everything right, then, there's a chance that you may not get them though.
Or maybe,
but
control it a little easier maybe or something.
Yes. And then the people that are not controlling it or not, eating properly, exercising, things like that, then then they're going to find that they're more likely to get those diseases. So your risk goes up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get it if you have a genetic predisposition.
It's not a guarantee, is what we're saying. So are there symptoms with this? Like, would I know if I had it or was developing it?
No.
Oh,
So it does not have symptoms. Sometimes people complain of fatigue or pain in the right side of their belly. But other than that, like until it gets to a stage where the liver is failing, you will not have any symptoms.
so until it's almost too late, I guess, or, until it's really bad. Let's put it that way.
We can diagnose it, with an ultrasound, but it's usually found incidentally on imaging. So you'll go to the ER and, for, a cut and need to get stitches, or, you go there because you're having abdominal pain for some other reason, and then they scan your belly and then they see it. And sometimes the ultrasound is ordered because you have like elevations in your liver enzymes and your blood tests. So sometimes the blood tests can show the damage to the cells, because once they are damaged, then they put out more of those enzymes.
So is it something that people tend to develop like in middle age, older? Younger?
I have kids with fatty liver disease.
Kids? Really?
Children, yes.
Oh my God. So that takes us back to diet then. So what, because you mentioned that diet was a big factor in that. So what are we eating that we shouldn't be, and what should we be doing instead? That's a big question.
Obviously, just like most other diseases, a big culprit is high fructose corn syrup.
Okay.
Processed foods, fatty fried foods, fast food, these foods that, taste really good.
Right.
And they're yummy
Sadly.
to eat, but, are going to be damaging your body. And sometimes not eating them is easier said than done. But and it doesn't necessarily mean you can never have these things. It would just be occasionally, like once a month or something.
I think sometimes people hear, well, you can't do that, and they just like, forget it. I can't do it. I'm just not even going to worry about it. What are some small things that people do? Like if I could only do one thing this month, what's one thing I could do?
Increase the amount of vegetables in your diet.
Okay.
You should have half of everything that's going in your body be a plant. That is the technical recommendations right now. And so it's sometimes you look at like the plate on, the My Plate,
Right,
or on the government websites, and you look at some of these other instructions on how to have a good diet, and they're just overwhelming.
Yes,
and
I would
then
agree.
And then the plate, it doesn't necessarily always ring true for people, but even a small amount, like increasing the amount of vegetables that you have, the amount of water that you have, are going to help your liver, and with the goal being half of everything that goes in your body is a plant.
So a simple way would do that. Just every time you sit down to eat, make half your plate fruits and vegetables, right? That would be a simple and easy change. And I think you don't have to, it doesn't require like a food scale and all of this slogging and tracking and everything.
Exactly. And, you have the option of any sort of vegetable you want. There's fresh ones. Sometimes they can be more expensive, and so it's difficult for people to get fresh vegetables. But frozen vegetables are just as good, if not better, because they're frozen when they're in the height of their season. And canned vegetables also count. I mean, don't put a bunch of cheese on it.
Well, that was going to be my next question, actually.
But the canned ones tend to have a little bit more salt in it. So if you have, some sort of other disease that kind of is affected by salt, like high blood pressure or kidney disease, then you may want to steer clear of the canned stuff.
Is there, because you mentioned cheese, and that's what I was thinking, like butter, cheese, all those things that people put on the vegetables to that's how grandma made it, or to make it taste better. Should we avoid those things? Is a little bit okay?
A little bit is fine, but I would stick to a serving
Okay.
size. You know, a lot of times people just, let's say you have broccoli, you douse their broccoli in cheese, and it's a lot of cheese, and it kind of counteracts a little bit what the broccoli
I like having a piece of broccoli with my bowl of cheese. Is that what you're saying? I shouldn't do that?
Yes. You know, because a little bit is fine, but, you know, I like to remind people that there are other spices out there, you know. Put some garlic powder on them before and roast them. Delicious. Or, you know, ginger. Those types of things, you know, kind of are not going to necessarily contribute to any sort of fatty liver disease, heart disease, high blood pressure, but they, some of them may actually help. But they do taste good. Yeah. They make it taste a little bit better. And you do anything long enough and you're going to like it. I mean, people didn't start out, you know, liking black coffee because it's so, you know, bitter things. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of bitter things that we like, and it's an acquired taste. So if you eat it enough, you will start to like it. You just have to get through that initial period.
Well, I was going to say, how long does that initial phase last? A month or two isn't bad. You could do anything for a month or two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, so every time I turn on TV, every time I open up Instagram, it's protein, protein, protein. Is that harmful? When you're talking about fatty liver disease, you know.
Not necessarily, but there's, you know, some bad associations with some like plant protein powders, and especially if people are like, what is it, the dry?
Like the
dry scooping?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what that is? Yeah.
I've seen that. It's like, well, that looks terrible.
Yeah, that can actually be dangerous. So
really?
Yes, it's pretty dangerous. I'll tell you about that in our supplements.
Yeah, we'll get that for our next one.
Okay.
So, but it just goes back to like avoiding processed foods, because I mean, maybe a chicken breast is fine, but maybe, you know, 15 protein shakes a day is not such a great idea, right?
Yeah, go get a rotisserie chicken. They're not that expensive.
Yeah, they're delicious.
The other thing that you can do is exercise.
Okay.
Exercise independent of diet will improve liver tissue without weight loss.
Really?
So yeah, so normally we would, you know, the best thing you can do for a fatty liver is, you know, improve your nutrition and lose 10% of your body weight. And oftentimes the liver heals because it's a very resilient organ. You can do a lot of damage to it without it, you know, and it'll recover. But even if you don't do the dietary changes, they're too hard. Your schedule doesn't allow it. It's financially, it's hard. Just exercising, like, you know, getting out and going for a walk, or like doing some calisthenics at home that doesn't cost anything. Doing that for 150 minutes a week is going to significantly improve your liver tissue.
So I could just go for a walk, you know, twice a day for 15 minutes a day, five times a week. Am I doing the math right? Yeah, 5 times a week, and that would make a huge difference. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
that seems seems very doable for people, I think.
Yes. And it's nice to you could even power walk, because that would get your heart rate higher if you can do that.
Yeah. So is the key to get your heart rate higher? Is that, or is it just movement
for aerobic exercise?
Right,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it should be difficult to have a conversation.
I mean, I still think that feels doable. Everybody can walk, or not everybody can walk. I know, but I mean,
you should still be able to talk though. If you're so out of breath you can't talk, then that's too much.
Dial it down.
Come back. Yes, absolutely. Water is a big one.
That's right. You mentioned that. So, I mean, how does that affect your liver?
Well, a lot of people who don't drink water drink other things.
Oh.
So, you know, now you're looking at like sodas or energy drinks, and coffee is also improves liver tissue. So
that's great
you are
news.
okay to drink coffee. I mean, I would not,
Not
do
instead of water.
not the Starbucks coffee, because you can see the whole layer of sugar in the bottom that didn't get absorbed. But like black coffee or coffee with like some milk in it or something, if you leave out the sugar, it's super healthy for you.
That is the best news I've heard all day. I thank you so much for that. It's now my health drink. And I drink it with just a little bit of cream in it and no sugar. So that's great news.
Perfect.
Yes.
And then the water you're supposed to drink, everyone should at least be having 2 liters. So if you imagine like a 2 liter of Coke, change that out with water and you have your daily recommended.
So I'm trying to think how many.
Some people have more. It's 3 liters.
3 liters. So for those of us who don't know the metric system, how many ounces of water? Is that comparable to the Magic 64 number we've heard our whole lives? So our producer ran the numbers for us. And so that is about the Magic 64, which that's doable, I think. That's not so bad.
Because, if you don't drink enough water, you're gonna when you stand up, you get lightheaded.
Right.
It's probably because you don't drink enough water. And then
I tell my kids that.
Yes. And then, but you can imagine if that's what it's doing to your brain, then it's like, I can't be vertical right now. Just imagine what it's doing to your other organs.
That's a whole other podcast, I think. That's fascinating to me. I mean, wow.
And then, also if you're hydrated, you're less hungry.
That's true, too. So 2 liters of water, 30 minutes a day of just walking around and just switch out and those are 3, I think, things people can do. It's easy enough. Half your plate with fruits or vegetables.
And it's not an all or nothing. Like, even if you do some of these things or a little bit of them or work towards them over time, it's still going to make a difference. You don't have to go home and like empty out your entire pantry and, make radical changes to your diet because that's not sustainable.
Right. Okay. So all of these things are great, but what if someone doesn't make these changes or doesn't make them, soon enough? What kind of treatment options are there for fatty liver?
So it depends on the degree of the fatty liver and if it's doing like damage to the cells. So if it's doing damage to the cells, then we definitely want to treat it. And usually that's helping with nutritional things and weight loss, like medicines that suppress your appetite but are good for the liver. And those would be like some of like the injectable GLP-1s.
Like the GLP-1s we're always talking about.
And there's some oral options now, but also, some other diabetes medicine is, good for it. And then they do have finally a new FDA approved medication that gastroenterology would prescribe.
Okay.
Because usually if you're at the point where you're having significant scarring, you should probably see a GI doctor.
So if I'm hearing this and I'm like, oh, I don't have any symptoms, but I do love me a cheeseburger and fries. Do I need to be should I call my doctor for a test? What should I do?
We do not routinely screen for fatty liver disease. There's no recommendation for that yet. But if you have some of these other conditions that we had talked about and have some elevations in your liver enzymes, then we might start looking for that. But otherwise, again, it's usually found just incidentally.
The best thing probably to do is make these small changes and not even have to go down that road, I would assume, right?
Yes.
That's our
a lot
takeaway.
Of these changes, yes, are good ways to prevent it. Again, we do have medicines that we can help treat, but, the best thing is to not let your liver get to that point in the first place. It's good to you. It takes care of you. Be nice to it.
I think that is the perfect ending note. So thank you so much for coming. We're going to have you back soon. I think we're going to talk about supplements like we talked about. So we'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.